So hello everybody. I'm very happy to talk here in Barcelona, and thank you from the ADCE for inviting me. And special thanks also to Hans-Peter Albrecht, who is sitting here in the first seat, who was coming to me to invite me. So I'm very glad to be here. Thank you. Murderer. I truly hope that if that poor rat gets killed, you deserve to be shot in the head. You're a sick cunt. Or a very clever comment on drones, somebody said on Twitter. Or some emails were coming to me and they were saying like, you fucking piece of shit, get hit by a bus. So what provoked people all around the world to write such comments? And I can say, welcome to the art experiment 11 days. The inspiration for this project came from former art projects which were dealing with the topic of surveillance. And in these former art projects I did, the recipients were more or less in the classic role of the art contemplator, of the art consumer. And for this experiment, I had the impetus to integrate the recipients into this project and to give them an essential role, to let them really take part and be part of the project and to bring them into a critical situation where they can be on the one hand, the surveillant, and on the other hand, a decider. So let me explain first the installation. So what you see here, and I'm so glad that we can have it here. This is very special, so normally I don't have the installation with me. So we have here that white box. You can see here a few things like a gun and a PC. I will talk about that later. And in that box, we have a laboratory rat, which is at the moment, I can't see her, probably she's in her little hat. We should take it away. Wait, I don't see her. She's. Where's the rat, man? Huh? Ah, here inside. Come on. Come on. So I can see the rat for the moment, and I will show you the rat later. But we will hide this to evitate that the rat is not there when I need it. So let's talk about the the gun and the webcam. So you can see here the gun. It is a remote-controlled gun which you can use over the internet. I will show you that later. And there's a webcam also on the gun. And we have a PC, a little PC, who's connected to a cloud server and to the internet, who makes the access possible for you to control the gun. The webcam is installed on the barrel of the gun. So why is it so? Because we need that ego shooter perspective, which is very important. Because this installation moves you into the role of a surveillant and a drone pilot. And through the ego shooter perspective, we get that typical video game scenario. And this is very important because it is the relation, later you will understand it better, to the critical situation the recipient was getting while the project was running. So I can explain here the website, because the website is one of the very, very important part of the project, because it connects the recipients to the project. And we will go direct to the website and check it out. That's not so good, because I have the impression that the solution is not the right one. This is not good. Sorry for that interruption, but should restart it, probably. Yeah, I have the impression that we have here a technical problem. Yes, I'm very sorry for that. We can try it again. Yeah, we get the live stream, but we get it a little bit. I have to scroll them. So you see the red there in the corner? I will log in. And now you can move the gun, like in a video game. You see it? And we can aim. You can try to aim on the red like this. And shoot on the red. As you can see, red is jumping a little bit. So you all kind of do this also again with your smartphones. So just log in at 11days.florianmehnert.de, and you can aim on the red. So as you see, the gun is not loaded, so we don't have the intention to kill the red at the moment. We can do it that evening probably, huh? So I disconnected. So let's talk about the intention of my project. What is the intention of the 11 Days project? After I said that I was talking about former art projects which were dealing with the topic of surveillance. And I had so much discussions with people and recipients of my project, and they all were so helpless concerning these topics of monitoring everything. And they said, come on, it's not important if I'm monitored or not, so nobody is interested in me. I mean, I'm a normal person. I don't have anything to hide, so I don't care about that monitoring and surveillance stuff. And I said, okay, then I will show you all a real consequence of remote monitoring. And one of the really hard consequences of remote monitoring is the use of remote-controlled armed drones. Like Donald had this little, talked about this advertising where somebody was rolling out these big photos on the floor, because it is really, really, really a very actual and hard topic that the use of remote-controlled armed drones is nearly every day into countries like Afghanistan, Yemen, and Syria also. So, and the 11 Days project is an exploration of the consequences of remote monitoring and is relating to remote-controlled armed drones. Because only by monitoring your target, you can figure out where you can... Oh, somebody was looking in and shoot, huh? Cool. Yeah, comprehensive monitoring is a precondition to use the remote-controlled armed drone. So if you don't have that monitoring, you don't know where your target lives. And to know about your target, sure, the internet metadata is one source to get the information. And the most informations are coming from the mobile phone data, from the private mobile phone data. And so it is very easy to find the people, and then you know where to send your deadly drone. And then the drone comes, and then the drone pilot is sitting somewhere in USA or something, and or somebody like me with a smartphone probably also, and it's killing people. And gamification is an important fact if we are talking about remote-controlled armed drones, because it is correlating with the use of this technique. What is gamification? Just to give you an idea. Gamification is the use of elements of games in non-game contexts. Yeah, and what we have here is like a gamification functionally installation. We have that gun, and we can move it, and we have that interface between game and reality, because we can move the gun in reality, we can shoot on the rat. And the webcam is giving us the monitoring, the live stream, and so we can observe the rat 24 hours a day, and then decide when the best moment is probably to kill her. So 11 days stages an armed drones mission and shows what it is. The targeted killing as gamification and the consequences of total surveillance. So, how was the workflow of the project? It was like this. The project should run 11 days. That's the name of the project, 11 days. And I started a countdown of 11 days, which were running on the website. And after the 11th day, the gun was loaded, and it was allowed to the public to kill the rat. And I started on the first day, it was a Thursday, to inform the press about my ideas and about the project. And I planned to start the countdown on a Saturday, 2 days later. And direct at the same evening, where I was sending out my emails to the press, I got the first interview request, so on the same night. And the next day, on Friday morning, at 9 o'clock, I had the first interview with the Süddeutsche Zeitung, which is one of the biggest 3 newspapers in Germany. And after that, I really, probably I have to take away the pressure of the gun. So stop, please, probably shooting all the time, because it's a little bit, it makes me nervous. That would be good. We can use it, we can do it later more and more. And I was pushed on that Friday morning, the following days, really into something I call press marathon. So I even did not have time to eat something. So there was one interview after the other. And I talked to all the newspapers in the German-speaking countries, also in the Swiss, in Austria. Later also I gave some BBC interviews. Times UK was writing about the project. The Mirror was writing about the project. Several TV stations were coming to film the installation in my studio. I made numerous radio interviews with the biggest radio stations from Germany, like Deutschlandradio, on all these cultural channels, and also the other ones, like the pop channels we have for youngsters and so on. So the press was really doing a very good job, because that was what I needed to spread the project. So you can't get any participants if you don't have the possibility to spread the project. And that was really a good contribution from the press to help me that way. And that's also why the velocity really of the spread was amazing. So I started on a Thursday, this is the first red spot there, and on a Friday after the first interviews we had 4,600 logins. I only can talk about the logins like you did it now, because I can explain it to you later a little bit better probably. We had so much server crashes because a lot of people were going on the website that I had really problems to keep it up, and we changed the server like 3 times to more and more powerful servers just to stand all the demands coming from the internet. So, and then on the Saturday, before I started the countdown, because I started the countdown in the evening of the Saturday, we had over 30,000 hits. And again on Sunday. And this was also possible because through the good work the press did and a lot of articles we had, the project was coming very, very fast into these social networks. So a lot of Facebook accounts were discussing about it, Twitter and so on, all the networks you know and unknown. And then through the social networks, in less than 12 hours, there was a shitstorm, a really hard shitstorm beginning on me, and also DDoS attacks, which also destroyed all my statistics concerning the hits on the server, because if you have to restart all the time the server, so you get lost of all that information. So the people were really, really aggressive. Yeah? You disgusting pervert, you're less than zero artist, you scum. Yeah? You should be shot instead of the red. And crash against the wall and so on, fucking piece of shit that we had at the beginning. Or somebody, I wrote it in German, he said, "You dirty Nazi, I hope we can kill you after 11 days, like the red." And some more examples. We have invented a nice game. The one who smashes your face earns 100 euros, and so on. And breaks your bone, 200. And beats your fucking brain out, earns 700 euros. We will catch you. Or murderer was a word very, very often heard. Or somebody from France was also writing, "Tu mérites de crever," that means you deserve to die, or you should be killed. And also a lot of international petitions with about 3,500 subscribers were coming to me. And this is interesting because from the petitions, the subscribers were also forced to give something more than only an email or something. And so you can see from where the people were coming to subscribe, and only some examples I wrote here. So from the Czech Republic, for example, and UK for sure. A lot of emails coming to me from UK because of the articles of the Times and the BBC radio interview. Somebody from Australia, from South Africa, and also from the USA. So this project was really, really, really spread around the world very fastly in less than 12 hours. And as you can see, people were a little bit angry. What a sick bastard. Aimed a gun at his head, yeah. So, but let's also talk about some positive reactions. A lot of people also in the comment forums of the newspapers, where the people were a little bit more probably intellectually engaged, really giving me their respect and thanks. Yeah, like somebody wrote very clever comment on drones. Or art should be daring and challenging. Well, thank you for your provocative works. People are getting contemplative, and so on. Really, people try to bolster me up because it is not that easy to be confronted with a shitstorm without any feelings or without any also anxious feelings probably. And I really have to say that if so much negative energy is coming to you, it is hard to really trust that it is only words, or they will not realize some of these things they are telling. And so don't want to hold you back, this little card which says, "Hello, Mr. Mehnert, we like your project 11 days. It's great and courageous. Directions in the internet are to run away, but where to?" And this was somebody from my little village throwing it into my post box. So the question is, for me, or was for me, so is the shitstorm really an image? Does it really maps what the people are thinking? And if you see just on the few numbers I can give you, we had about 100,000 logins and approximately 450 emails coming to me, also with death threats, and 35,000 subscribers on the petitions. So we have a rest of 64,000 people without any statement. And my opinion is that the shitstorm is very noisy, kind of noisy, like people are really aggressive. But as you can see, it is not really a mapping of the reality. It looks like, but the truth is, if you see these numbers, it isn't. And we had also on the website a poll. You can see it if you go on the website later. And the question was, should the rat stay alive? And 15,950 subscribers did participate. And sure, a lot of people said, yes, the rats should stay alive. But 18.6% said, no, we can't shoot the rat, man. And even 7.7% said, I don't care about. And this is interesting. So, but the poll was so important on this website for me also, because it animates the audience to participate. And it gave them like a self-efficacy, like a feeling that they can control a little bit what is going on and to take influence. And it was a very good idea to integrate it into the website to get these reactions and to give them the feeling of interaction. So we had not only the reactions of the recipients, there was also interesting reactions of the authorities. It was evident that the local police was visiting me on the day I started the countdown. It was a Saturday, just to check out which gun I'm using or if it's allowed to use the gun. They were very friendly, and I was also very open to them, and I showed them the installation, and they recognized that the gun is a paintball gun, and you can use a paintball gun if you're 18 years old in Germany, for example. But be aware, if you have the right bullets for this gun, you can shoot that little rat down with the paintball gun, because only 1 meter and 50 centimeters is a very short distance, and with 200 bars of pressure, it's no problem to kill the rat. But the gun was not loaded, like it here is not loaded, and so they were satisfied, and they said, okay, we can't do anything against him. The rat is well, she has some food and something to drink and enough place to live, and so the local police went away. The problem was for me, after the shitstorm was growing, getting more aggressive and aggressive, that 2 days later, on Monday, I went to the police on the evening asking for protection, because I really felt not secure anymore at my home. And So they gave me a little bit protection and were driving in front of my studio at night, so I could sleep a little bit better. But a few days later, on a Wednesday, I was visited from 3 civil servants. So really, like you imagine, people in gray suits, a little bit friendly, but in an authoritarian way, they were asking, "So, Mr. Mehnert, can we talk to you?" And they had nothing with them, so they had no prosecution. They just said, okay, and they had to be honest, and they said, okay, we don't have anything in the hand against you, but we have to talk to you, and we please you take your time and talk now to us. And it was a little bit critical situation for me, because at the same time I had a TV team there, and the TV team was sure heading on these people, and they were very angry about that, and they were sending them away very fastly. Really, and after 5 minutes, so they packed their cameras and they went away. And so they forced me in that way to talk to them. And they said, okay, Mr. Mehnert, listen, we want you to stop the project now. We don't have anything, but if you don't cooperate, we will find anything against you. That you can be sure for that. So I was sitting there reflecting, what can I do? They don't have anything against me, but they will find probably something against me. And I was stressed because of the interviews I did all the day, and then also stressed because of the shitstorm. And on 2 days before, on the Monday, before I went to the police, on Sunday night, I was thinking about when I could find probably a good day for preterm end for the project. And I was talking and discussing this with the only friend who was awake at the night at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was in USA. It was the programmer of this project who did all that custom programming for me. And so we decided to let it run a few days, but we decided not to run it to the end. And the decision was good not to run it until the end, because later my jurist, who took all the papers and all the information from the Department of the Public Prosecution later, and you will be surprised to hear that they have like 380 papers only over this project and their investigation they did on me. And so it was a good decision to say, okay, I have worldwide controversial discussions about my project. I really I really could say that the artistic intention was fully achieved. And so I decided on that Wednesday to give the red to the authorities. And so they took the red out, and I pretermed the project after 6 days, not 11. And so it was never the intention of the experiment to actually allow the shooting of the rat. It was a fiction. And the interesting thing for me was to see and to find out what was happening between these 11 days, where in reality nothing happened. And the interesting thing is that all the participants had in their head like a how is it called, like a fiction who became reality for them, because it was, for them, it was the fact, it was a real fact that the rat will be killed after 11 days. And that's why the shitstorm was so big. And let me explain again the role of the rat. I mean, it is evident that the rat is a catalyst of attention and emotion. And with the identification from the people to the rat, it was possible to get the maximal attention of the recipients to the project. And a lot of people ask me, so don't you think that the focusing on the rat created an overlay of your intention? Because what was my intention? To point out the consequences of remote monitoring, and to point out that everybody can kill over the internet, and that it is done every day. So now the question is the shitstorm an image of the social reality? And is it just bullying? Or is it more? Is it in reality an expression of a need of participation? And this is what I'm thinking, that all these reactions we had, and it is not important if the reaction was positive or negative. It is not important if the people throwing death threats towards me or not. The important thing is that the people participated. And the whole energy they invested to react and to get into this project is very impressive. And so my opinion is that the shitstorm is quite more than only bullying. It is the expression of a real need of participation. People want to participate, also in these things, also in political things. And the problem with this project was that the people were excessive demanded towards a complex reality they saw there, because everybody was recognizing that there was a parallel situation of the installation to the reality. I mean, I cannot show it more clear like this. So you have red, you have the possibility to shoot, you can move the gun, you have the live stream. So it is really, for everybody, well comprehensive. But the people didn't want to understand it, or didn't want to realize it really, and they were falling into a kind of displacement activity. And the displacement activity was, oh, come on, let us save the red, and better probably kill the artist than to discuss or to find out what is really behind this political situation we have, that the USA and also the German government is contributing. Controlled armed drones every day. And because what can one little person do against such big events and such big problems? And it's like it is an excessive demand, because they are helpless, and there's a certain helplessness, and so they try to find a way to react, and they try to find a way out of their critical situation. And for a few people, the best solution was to save the rat and then to kill the artist. In an ambivalent behavior, but it was the only way for them to come out of this conflict. And for me as an artist, the participation was so important, and the art project was only working if somebody is really reacting, if somebody has the willingness to participate and to get part of the project. And I found that in an English-speaking blog, and it is exactly what I wanted. And he wrote, any act of protest will contribute to the work. And we are the work. And the petitions is the work. And me typing this is the work. And as I am contributing live thoughts about Florian Mehnert, and it is terrifyingly beautiful. And there is where the art begins. If an art project or an art installation becomes more than its physical parts, it's more than a gun, it's more than this plastic box. It is more than a computer connected to a cloud server. It is a situation which was a fiction, but so real for the people that they were discussing all over the world how to find a solution for their conflicts. And this is, for me as an artist, very impressive because it shows that there is a really impressive energy of the people to take part of the things, and also of political things. And so the question is, has political art any power? Can it affect something at all? And I must say, after also the other projects I did, which were the wild protocol, the forest protocols, I call them, I bugged German forests and was recording passing people in the forests. Or later an installation, a video installation, which is called Mention Tracks, I was hacking smartphones and turning on their video cameras and was getting little small movies and showing it later in an installation. And then the 11 days installation. And I have to say, and you can see it as from the reactions that I got, that I'm sure that political art has a lot of power, and that projects like this are showing very good how much energy is all over in the people to get connected to these things and also to react with these things. And this is very, very impressive and really a good how is it called? A good deal with the end of the project. That even a negative reaction is a good reaction, and even a massive or death threat reaction is an interesting reaction. And I come here to the end and can say thank you for listening, and don't stop discussing about these ideas.
For this guy, because he really wants to do that. Yeah?
Thank you. So probably we have a few minutes if somebody has a question to it, because I cannot say probably everything yet.
Was ever a rat killed by this project?
No, never. No rat was killed ever, and it was not the intention to kill a rat. It makes no sense to kill a rat at the end. I thought about it, sure, at the beginning of the project where I was planning everything, and I was thinking about, would it be good to let the people shoot really to the rat later and give it to a splatter or something, but it makes no sense, because the interesting thing is what happens in these now 6 days only, what happens in the heads of the people, in their brains, while the 6 days countdown was running. And in reality, nothing was happening. And everything what was happening in the heads of the people. And the art was in their heads. So, anybody more want a question?
Why didn't you go on until why did you stop in the 6 days? Really?
Again, I get the...
Why did you really stop?
Why I did really stop? Yes, because I really stopped because the impetus of my work was fully achieved. I mean, I had so much hits on the website that the server broke down. I had all these petitions, I had all these articles. I couldn't give more interviews as I gave. I mean, every radio station, every newspaper was writing articles. What I could get more than that? It was perfect after 6 days. So I could say I have the goal. And it was a good moment to stop. And it made no sense to let it run last days because, sure, there was a certain afraid on my side that I could overload the situation probably, and then really somebody tries to break in my studio and to shoot on me and to save the rat or something like that. So that made no sense. And so I decided to pre-term the project after 6 days. It was not because of the shitstorm at the end. It was also not because of the authorities. Even they made some pressure on me. And but the decision was good because as I talked with my jurist later, he said, "Look, if it was a good decision for you to do it because if you not have done it, there are some paragraphs turning towards that they could get you in trying, also only to try to kill a rat or only to demand to other people to do it is heavily punished in Germany. It's punished like if you are the murderer. And so that I finished the project showed that I had a real artistic intention not to kill the rat and gave it to the authorities. And they killed it then. Yeah, the authorities killed the rat, for sure. I was asking about the rat a few weeks later. They were very aggressive. They said, "Okay, come on, Mr. Mehnert, do you want €6 for the rat? And stop asking now." And so it became evident for me that the rat is not alive anymore. What do they want with the rat? I mean, that's a fact. But it makes also it makes no sense to run to the press again or to the media and tell them, "Hey, the rat is not alive anymore." And so it makes no sense for the project itself. It's only to create a scandal, and I don't need it. It's not contributing the art project. So anybody more? Okay, so thank you.